Hi Class T, it's that time again for 3 more chapters taken from the Twits. So we're now up to chapter 17, called The Great Upside Down Monkey Circus. Now, for the monkeys. The 4 monkeys in the cage in the garden were all one family. There were Mugglewump and his wife, and their 2 small children. But what on earth were Mr. and Mrs. Twit doing with monkeys in their garden? Well, in the old days, they'd both worked in a circus as monkey trainers. They used to teach monkeys to do tricks and to dress up in human clothes and to smoke pipes and all the rest of that nonsense. Today, although they were retired, Mr. Twit still wanted to train monkeys. It was his dream that one day he would open the great upside-down monkey circus in the world. That meant that the monkeys had to do everything upside down. They had to dance upside down on their hands with their feet in the air. They had to play football upside down. They had to balance one on top of the other, upside down, with Mugglewump at the bottom and the smallest baby monkey at the top. They even had to eat and drink upside down, and that is not an easy thing to do because the food and water has to go up your throat instead of down it. In fact, it's almost impossible, but the monkeys simply had to do it. Otherwise, they got nothing. Just going to pause there for a scientific fact. You might find this pretty unbelievable, but it's not actually that difficult to swallow and you're upside down. It was one of the facts that I shared with some of you last week when we were looking at the digestive system. Your body's digestive system can work if you are upside down, and that includes swallowing because you actually swallow using muscles, which can push the food uphill. So in that sense, you can actually eat upside down. I don't suggest you try it though, just in case. All this sounds pretty silly to you and me. It sounded pretty silly to the monkeys too. They absolutely hated having to do this upside down nonsense day after day. It made them giddy standing on their heads for hours on end. Sometimes the 2 small monkey children would faint with so much blood going to their heads. But Mr. Twit didn't care about that. He kept them practicing for 6 hours every day. And if they didn't do as they were told, Mrs. Twit would soon come running with her beastly stick. Chapter 18. The Roly-Poly Bird to the Rescue. Mugglewump and his family longed to escape from the cage in Mr. Twit's garden and go back to the African jungle where they came from. They hated Mr. and Mrs. Twit for making their lives so miserable. They also hated them for what they did to the birds every Tuesday and Wednesday. "Fly away, birds!" they used to shout, jumping about in the cage and waving their arms. "Don't sit on that big dead tree! It's just been smeared all over with sticky glue. Go and sit somewhere else." But these were English birds, and they couldn't understand the weird African language the monkeys spoke. So they took no notice and went on using the big dead tree and getting caught for Mrs. Twit's bird pie. Then, one day, a truly magnificent bird flew down out of the sky and landed on the monkey cage. "Good heavens!" cried all the monkeys together. "It's the Roly-Poly Bird! What on earth are you doing over here in England, Roly-Poly Bird? Like the monkeys, the Roly-Poly Bird came from Africa, and he spoke the same language as they did. I've come for a holiday, said the Roly-Poly Bird. I like to travel. He fluffed his marvellous coloured feathers and looked down rather grandly at the monkeys. For most people, he went on, flying away on holiday is very expensive. But I can fly anywhere in the world for nothing. Do you know how to talk to these English birds? Mugglewump asked him. Of course I do, said the Roly-Poly Bird. It's no good going to a country and not knowing their language. Then we must hurry, said Mugglewump. Today is Tuesday, and over there you can already see the revolting Mr. Twit up the ladder, painting sticky glue on all the branches of the big dead tree. This evening, when the birds come in to roost, you must warn them not to perch on that tree, or they'll be made into bird pie. That evening, the Roly-Poly Bird flew round and round the big dead tree, singing out, There's sticky stuff all over that tree. If you land in the branches, you'll never get free. So fly away, stay up high, or you'll finish up tomorrow in a hot bird pie. Chapter 19. No bird pie for Mr. Twit. Next morning, when Mr. Twit came out with his huge basket to snatch all the birds from their big dead tree, there wasn't a single one on it. They were all sitting on top of the monkey cage. The Roly-Poly Bird was there as well, and Mugglewump and his family were there inside the cage, and the whole lot of them were laughing at Mr. Twit.